Okay, guys. So we're going to do a basic review, real basic. There was some confusion, uh, a little bit of confusion, not much, even in my senior class, about fertilizer problems, percentages, etc. So real basic overview, and then the lecture today is probably going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to try to put some stuff in. And the reason that we rehash this over and over is that it's super important uh, that you guys get a really good grasp on this before we move on to uh, like sprayer calibrations. Because if we're not got a handle on spreader calibrations like one over got, even though sprayer calibrations are still following steps, you're going to get a little bit more confused. So let's just do a basic part. A bag of 10, 5, 10, right? And we know that's N, P, K, nitrogen, phosphorus, and these are percentages of the amount of that product. These are percentages. Now, if I'm asking for usable product, I know there's been some confusion on like usable product when it goes into like your steps. Usable product never goes to your steps. When we're doing won't over got, has nothing to do with it. Here's the only thing usable product is. This is a 50-pound bag. We got a percentage. 10 times 50. That's going to give me 5 pounds of usable nitrogen. Now, why is this important? Okay, it's important because it gives you a template. That's not a lot of nitrogen, right? So that probably wouldn't be a good starter fertilizer. But that's so now you know that you do that in your head. You go to Lowe's, you can look at that, they're like 5 pounds. But here's a bag of 3400, right? 50-pound bag. So I'm going to times by 50, and I think that gives us 17 pounds of usable nitrogen. Of usable nitrogen. So you see the difference, right? So if I want to green if I want to green it up quick, that's why I'm using the usable nitrogen. I can tell that 17 pounds of usable nitrogen is going to green it up quicker, and that's the only time that it's just to help you. Just remember that this has nothing to do when we're doing our steps, like our one over God. Just take that out of the equation. The only thing is just to help you. So, like I said, the lecture today is a bit longer, but I want to review a little bit. We're going to do one basic problem with the steps, and then I'm going to show you guys a couple more intricate problems, but how those steps, if you do those steps, you can solve these problems. So, let's do something simple. Let's say, and I'll be honest, if you go into the golf course business, or if you go into sports fields business, like the home loan, you're running it. But if you work for a big company, it'll look similar to this. You'll come in one morning, and on your desk will be a slip of paper, and it will say 17, 17.5, right? Uh, at, and we're going to start with 1 pound. 1 pound in, right? And you should know, like your boss will tell you such and such yard or such and such golf green, then you'll know the square footage. But let's just say you didn't. It's a home loan, and we're doing that for uh, 3,800 square feet, right? And that's what it's going to look like. So you're like, well, what do I do? It'll be a 50-pound bag. Now, don't ever assume it's a 50-pound bag, but I know from my experience in the golf course, pretty much is everything is based off a 50-pound bag. But if you didn't know what it is, you look at the bag. Simple enough. this is how he's got it right now. So we're going to go step one. Step one. And I don't know if I've confused some of you or not, but step one, when I had acreage in square feet, here's the deal. Step one, you get everything in square feet. I don't care how you do it. If it's in yards, you convert it to square feet. If it's in acres, you convert it to square feet. If it's in centimeters, you convert it to square feet. Do you need to know all those conversions? No, because there's a wonderful thing called a cell phone. You can Google, right? How many feet's in a yard? Lo and behold, it's going to tell you. You could probably Google and say, if I did 250 yards by 150 yards, I bet you could probably Google and it will tell you the answer to how many square feet. What I want you guys to remember is step one, everything's in square feet. In this business, we work in square feet. So this problem already has it, right? Square feet. Step two, over God. I know we're getting this, sometimes we're getting this confused too. That's somebody telling me what they want. That's a homeowner, that's my boss, that's whoever. They tell me what they want. So he's telling me he wants 1 pound per thousand. 1 pound nitrogen per thousand. What do I have? And maybe I should say won't over have. A lot of people might be getting that confused. But it's won't over, won't over have. So what do I have? I look at my bag. NPK 17. It's 17%. 0.17. 0.17. So 1 divided by 0.17 equals 5.8. Okay? Simple enough. So now we have step one, step two. Step three. Divide by 1,000. But what are we dividing by 1,000? I think that sometimes confuses people also. Step three. The only thing, make it simple. Step three, you divide your answer in step one by 1,000. Boom. So the answer in step one is 3,800. Given to you. Divide by 1,000. 0.8. Okay. And I should say this is pounds. 5.8 pounds per thousand. And if I put M down, M is for 1,000. So step four, a lot of people are getting confused on step four, which is your total product. So step four is super, super simple again. I want to simplify it down even more. Is you multiply your answer in step two by answer in step three. So that would be 5.8 times 3.8. 22 pounds. That's 2204. But pounds, pounds of what? Pounds of total product or total fertilizer, right? Why is this important? So that 22 pounds is going to give me my 5.8 per thousand. So to make it even simpler, a higher square footage, and maybe we'll do another real quick. Just take, for example, let's say this was 5.8 pounds, and our square footage was higher, and this number was 222 pounds. So let's say this was 43,000. Okay, so about an acre. So to simplify this out, if I gave you 5.8 pounds of fertilizer, right, like a coffee can, two coffee cans of fertilizer, and told you to go fertilize an acre, you couldn't do it, right? But if I gave you 222 pounds of fertilizer to tell you to go do an acre, you could do it, and that's giving you your 5.8. So I hope that simplifies a little bit better. We'll do one with a higher square footage to make it work out better. So let's do let's do this. I'll work one off the sheet. So let's say we had a bag of 17, once again, 17, 17, 17, and our area is 400 feet by 400 feet, and we want 1 pound nitrogen per thousand. Okay? So I can work with this. So step one, get everything in square feet, right? So 400 times 400, that's 160,000 square feet. So 400 times 400 is this, and everything in square feet. Get everything in square feet. Step two, won't over God. Won't over what I have. What do I want? I want 1 pound per thousand. Nitrogen per thousand. What do I have? 0.17. And technical difficulties. I'm getting that from the end as a percentage, 0.17. So 1 divided by 0.17 equals 5.8 again. 5.8. The answer in step 1 by 1,000. So that's 160,000 divided by 1,000. Gives us 160. Multiply answer in 1. And I'll just go ahead, or I'm sorry, in 2. So I'll say 5.8 by answer in 3. 160. Okay? 928 pounds of total product. And if I was to divide that by 50, say assuming it's a 50 bag, 18 bags. It's 18.56. So once again, 19 bags. But what I want you guys to know is that 160,000 square feet, if I gave you 5.8 pounds of fertilizer, you can't fertilize that. But if I gave you 928 pounds, you can. And that 928 pounds is giving you this. And the reason that it's important to get your bags, this will come in time and experience with heads. Every golf course superintendent I've ever worked for knows the number of bags. This is why it's important. The book that you have, it focuses more on cost, right? And that's an aspect of it. Cost is an aspect of it. But here's the super thing about it, and super important thing about your bags, the number of bags that you need. Let's say I did my steps, and this was for 18 golf greens, right? 160,000 square feet would be all my 18 golf greens. So I load up 19 bags and I send them out. And they come back, hour and a half, 2 hours later, and I'm like, "Hey, are you done?" And they're like, "No, we're getting more bags." What? Where'd you stop at? Well, we stopped at number 9. Whoa, something's going on. I need to go get water and wash that fertilizer off because I'm going to burn those greens up. Right? That's the most important thing about the bags is you need to know roughly within a bag or two what those guys are going back there with and what they're coming back with. Because if they get out too much nitrogen will burn those greens up. Now, if you get out there in time, you get out there in time, you can wash it off, it'll be fine. And vice versa. Let's say they came back and they had, I don't know, 10 bags left. Okay, well, that's not a problem as far as field range, but it's a problem that I know that I'm not putting out my required nitrogen. So I will have to go back within a week and reapply more. So that's the most important thing about the bags. Cost number one, but just know in the back of your mind is that everything's being applied right. That you sort of know roughly how many bags it takes to do that, and it'll save yourself some trouble and some time. All right. Okay. Real briefly, we've been working with pounds, 1 pound, 1 pound of nitrogen, 1 pound of nitrogen, 1 pound of nitrogen. And that's pretty common. That's definitely common on home loans, ball fields, etc. Because you can grease it up and it's fine. Golf courses, so if I gave you a quarter, a half, and 3/4, right? What would that be? Because that is what the golf course works with primarily, and sports fields for a large part. Home loans not so much, but golf courses, sports fields, this is what you're working with. These are your numbers. It's the same as the 1 pound in. Guess what? It's a percentage. So what's a quarter? Well, 0.25. What's a half? 0.5. What's 3/4? 0.75. So if I came in and my boss says I want a 1/4 pound in per thousand, right? And I'm using, we'll do 17, 17, 17 again. 17, 17, 17. Won't over God, right? Super, 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 super simple. Won't over God. What do I want? 1/4 pound in, right? I know that. 0.25, right? What do I have? 0.17. 0.25 divided by 0.17 gives me 1 point, basically 1.5 pounds of in per thousand. So these numbers are come super super common, right? Definitely in the golf course business, this is primarily what you'll be working with. So let's try to do a little bit more in-depth problem to show you how the steps work. It's almost like, good Lord, uh, what's it like, Alcoholics Anonymous or NA, narcotics, whatever, work the steps. They work if you work them. Same with this. And I want to show you in 2 problems how these steps work. So let's say I have an area to be fertilized that's 250 yards by 125 yards. And I want to use a 25, 10, 10 fertilizer. We'll say 50-pound bag, just for 50-pound bag. And I want to go out at a quarter pound. We'll say quarter pound in per thousand. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, well, now I'm confused because they've got me with yards, right? Like I told you, man, I don't care how you do it. Like, for example, I want to try to Google right now just to see because I don't know, but I want to say uh, 250 yards, 125 yards is how many square feet? And it brought up a conversion calculator, so it's not going to give you the answer, but it also gives you how many square feet are in a yard, or how many feet are in a yard. I'm sorry, feet in the yard. How many feet are there? 3. Okay. Step one: get everything into square feet. So 250 times 3, 125. So 250 times 3 equals 750. So now we've got that in feet. 125 times 3 is 375. Now we have that in feet, right? In feet. Now to get it to square feet, we times those together. So it's 281, 250. And lo and behold, it did give the answer. So if you can see that, I typed it in on Google and it gave the answer. So in this business, boys, I can't stress this enough. Work smarter, not harder. So if you don't know a bunch of stuff, man, I don't know it all either. But those smartphones now, they can give you a lot of the answers. So it did. It gave us the answer, right? So step one's done. I've got it in square feet. Want over God. What do I want? Well, somebody's telling me that they want. Quarter pound. What's a quarter pound? 0.25. What do I have? 0.25. And we do the math on that, but just to make sure. 1 pound. 1 pound in per thousand. Easy enough so far. Divide answer in 1 by 1,000. So divide your square feet by 1,000. 281,250 divided by 1,000. 281.25. Okay, step 4. Multiply answer into, so that is 1 pound, by answer in 3. 281.25. So math is super simple here. So it worked out 281.25 pounds total product, divide by 50, gives me around roughly 6 bags, 5.6, so 6 bags. One I want you to know here is I converted, right? Super simple. I got it all to square feet. And even if I didn't know how many feet were the yard, the old smartphone did. It gave me the answer in step 1. So we'll step it up a notch. I want to briefly talk to you about, this is important, but this is important only in 99.999% of the times, golf course greens and greens only, is when somebody says you need to spread your fertilizer wheel to wheel. Okay? So picture in your head a golf green. And I'm getting ready to do my spreader. So here I am. Here's the wheels on the spreader. Here I am pushing it. Right? And when I say wheel to wheel, this is what this means. When I make a track down that green, those are my wheel tracks. When I turn to come back, I want my fertilizer, my prill, my fertilizer, to come hit back at the inside. Here's my spreader. I want that come back, hit the inside of that tire mark. That's wheel to wheel. Throw to throw on the opposite side would be this. So throw to throw, my fertilizer's throwing, I don't know, 6 feet, right, on each side. Throw to throw means I'm coming and throwing back to where that, roughly where that last fertilizer pellet would land. Now, why is this important? Well, wheel to wheel is super important on the golf course, because when you do one over got, and if I've told you it's wheel to wheel, the answer in one over got is not what you have to use. You have to divide that number by 2, and we'll go over that real quick. So let's say, and we won't do the steps. I'll just say a bag of 20. Mm-hmm. A bag of 20, 10, 10, and half pound per thousand, wheel to wheel. That's sort of what it'll look like if you ever experience this, or they'll tell you wheel to wheel. Okay, so now I know one over got. We're not worried about steps on this, just one over got. How am I going to calibrate the spreader, which we'll get to that in a lesson in the future, is want got. What do I want? Half a pound. What do I have? 0.2. Okay, so we're all good here. We're familiar with this, right? So 0.5 divided by 0.2 equals 2.5, right? No, wheel to wheel. I have to divide this by 2. Now that gives me 1.25 pounds in per thousand. Only if it says wheel to wheel do you divide that number by 2. Any other time, this is the correct answer. Right? Wheel to wheel, primarily on golf course range, but it's crazy, crazy common. So just know if it says wheel to wheel, you have to divide your won't ever God answer by 2, and that's giving you this. And this is an important step. Uh, this is how you calibrate a spreader, guys. Like this number right here. This is what you use, and we'll go over that in the future. But for right now, I just want you to know if it says wheel to wheel, divide by 2. Okay. One last problem, and this will be in depth, but you can do it. And I will probably send a test. I don't know if I'll have it today. I'll try to get it this weekend, but we'll do 2 to 3 problems of stuff like this. There'll just be two to three in-depth problems, uh, almost crazy, crazy similar to what we're doing here, and that'll be our next test. So let's say we had a boss that hates us, right? This guy wants us fired for no other reason. He don't like the way we look. So I come in one morning and on my desk, he tells me he wants 1 green fertilized, spoon fed, 4 times throughout the season. And this is what he gives me. Okay? And we're going to spoon feed. And by what I mean on spoon feed is you put a real low amount of nitrogen more times through the season. That's crazy common. Not even in golf courses, home loans, maybe not so much because you want more fertilizer, grass to grow for money. Greenhouses, baseball fields, football fields, golf courses, spoon feed is a common term. And the only thing that means is you're putting less amount of nitrogen, more amount of times. So he wants to spoon fed 4 times through the season, right? And we're using a bag, a 50-pound bag of, let's say 25, oh, I got it wrote down, 25, 10, 5, right? And he wants this at a quarter pound of N per thousand. And that's what's on my desk, right? I'm like, oh my God. And he's told me, not only has he wrote this, application, how much nitrogen for 1 half, and how much total, right? And how many bags. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just a CVCC grad. I don't know how to do this. But you do. Your steps. I'm going to try to I have to move the computer a little bit so we can see. So I look at this. I'm like, oh my God, this guy really wants me fired, right? So, but I'm a fighter. I want to say, you know what? I learned this. I'm not going to panic. I know what this is. Step 1, get everything into square feet. Oh, I'm looking at that. He just gave me a green with a radius on it, right? Well, what's the area of a circle? Pi r squared, 3.14 radius squared. Google it if you didn't know. Google, oh my God, what's the radius of a circle? Google it. It's going to pop up. Step 1, get everything. How do I do that? Formula's there. 3.14 radius squared, 3.14, 35 times 35, right? 3.14. 35 times 35 equals 1225, right? Times that number, 3.14, equals 3846.5 square feet. So we've got him. We've got him on this. Now we know the area for one room. So now I feel really confident, right? I'm feeling good. Step two. Pounded this in for the whole semester, man. Want God. What do I want? Well, he's told me what I want. I want a quarter pound nitrogen. But is there such a thing? Yes, it's 0.25. What do I have over 0.25? My percentage, right? We've already did the math on that. Oh, let me throw in another thing. I'm sorry. He wants it wheel to wheel. Right? This guy is out for my job. So he wants it wheel to wheel. Well, we've done the math, so I know what that is. 0.25 equals 1. But is it? No. This guy told me he wants it wheel to wheel. Okay? Divide by 2. So the correct answer is 0.5 pounds nitrogen per thousand. Okay? So we're all solid. So now I've got that. So now I'm going to go step 3. Right? Divide answer in 1 by 1,000. Okay? So that's easy enough. So 3846.5 divided by 1,000. And I have the answer here is 3.85. Okay, so we're good so far. And we're going to stop right here because I'm like, hold on, I can go ahead and do step 4. And I'm doing good. I'm feeling my job safe. This guy, he wants it 4 times throughout the season. Okay, he's told me how much for one application. He's asked that. Well, step 2 gives you that answer. There's your one application. One application, one app is 0.5. So I've got that. Okay, he told me he wanted 4 times. Well, I know how to do that. That's super easy math. I'm going to take that, 0.5 times by 4. That's going to give me 2 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 for the total half of 4 times through the season. So now I'm really feeling confident, right? All this, man, I'm kicking this guy's butt. Well, how many bags? Well, it don't take a rocket scientist to know if you're doing this. You ain't going to use the whole bag, but he wants to know, right? So we're going to say step 4, right? That is multiply. Answer in 2. I'll go ahead and put 2 pounds. By answer in 3, 3.85. Right? My total stuff. There's my whole app, my whole application. Here, right? 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 3.8, point equals 7.7 pounds of total product. Right? He gave me a thought. It wasn't going to be that nice. So, divide by 50. And that gives me 0.154. What's 1.54? Remember, percentages, decimals, percentages, decimals. Super easy. taking that decimal and I'm moving it here and I'm moving it here. So now I know that I'm going to roughly use 15% of that bag. And if I really want to get it, right, I can find out exactly how much. What is 15% of a 50-pound bag? That's 0.15 times, of is always times 50. And you check the answer. 7.7. No, do that 4 times. Spoon feeding at a quarter-pound in. I'm going to use roughly 8 pounds of that 50-pound bag, and that's going to get it done. Now these numbers are real practical. Off my head, I'd probably be pretty close, but I know this seems really crazy, right? But if you work the steps and you read the problem, everything in those steps can be done. So that'll end the lecture for today. That clears some stuff up. I will stop right now and then go try to get some test questions made up for you. There might only be two. They'll be in depth on something like this, and it'll be very, very similar to this. I might do two fertilizer problems and then two where you have to think a little bit and get some conversions going on. But I hope that cleared stuff up a little bit. And if you guys have problems, you can shoot me an email, and I'll try to clear up as much as I can. Uh, but I'm hoping that we know just follow those steps, man. Math sucks, and I know it does. But just if you do the steps, be obsessive compulsive about it. Do the steps, write it out. Don't overthink it. Just do the steps, step by step by step, and you guys will be fine. All right.